What's up, y'all? It's your boy Tevin Jameer back at it again with another episode of the Hate It or Love It podcast. Now, I told y'all my guest this week was going to be a special one. Now, y'all know him as T. Lavar, but I know him as my cousin Tony.
Yes, sir.
What's up, Tony?
So,
why don't you get my audience into, like, what do you do? Like, tell them what you about.
all right, well, Lavar KG, y'all may know me as that, or T. Lavar, which I was formerly known as. But now I do a little bit of it all. I do the music, I do the film and television, I do the acting, I'm touching a little bit of the modeling now. As for film, I just have a production company, so I'm directing films, I'm looking for a team to build, you know a little bit about that. And yeah, looking for my cast, looking for all sorts of things in realms of the film. But yeah, I'm an artist.
So, you know, we gonna touch all into that. And one of the things that I really like, especially about him being my cousin, is like, you know, if you guys follow my stuff, y'all know that I'm very much into a lot of the same things that he is, music, film. So that's what we're gonna touch on in this episode. And with all that being said, let's get right into it. So you can pick which one you want to talk about first, but I want to know, how'd you get into music and into film?
Okay.
So which one do you want to address first?
Well, I'll do it in the chronological order.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I started off with a passion for music. I've always been in the books, writing rhymes. Started with poetry. Really just expressing how I feel, just coming up with different bars. I liked words, just seeing what words play I can use. So it always started off with that. And then once I got myself into music, I went to my engineer, Rue Executive Studios out Cherry Hill. I've been doing all right with music. I realized my difference in music was more on the side that's not really too accepted. You know what I'm saying? I'm more of a theatrical artist. If you check out any of my music videos or any of my performances, I'm not a bopping side to side type of artist. I like to be theatrical. So with that being said, I just addressed my engineer about it. Said, I'm thinking about getting into acting. And just like that, he set me up with a manager, Natalie Simmons. And I got into a couple commercials. And from there on, that's my transition from, well, I don't want to say transition because I still do both. But that's when I started doing film. And I was acting. And doing more and more of that. And I'm, having my own music and getting into music videos. It was always that price difference where, you ask a videographer their price and you wasn't feeling it. So I said, let me get into music film so I can just film my own videos. But once I got the hang of it, once I got the knowledge of it, I realized I couldn't film my own videos. So that's how I got my knowledge on film. But after that, I just pretty much kept going with it. I kept filming other people's videos, and I got into filming the actual scripts and filming actual like different type of scenarios like that. So yeah, I guess that's my transition. Did that answer your question?
Yeah. And when you were talking about like how you got into music, was like what was some of your inspirations? Like, who inspires you musically? Were there like any rappers or like any albums that wanted to get you into that?
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, the first rap artist I've ever seen, consciously, was Lil Bow Wow.
Lil Bow Wow.
Lil Bow Wow.
Yeah, I never heard anybody say that before.
Man, I remember I was being babysat, and she just had big screen TV, and I see Lil Bow Wow come on it, doing the Harlem Shake, big jersey and everything, and I was just like, what's this? But I was like, that was the very first moment I was introduced to rap music, and then that's what pretty much catapulted that. So Lil Bow Wow did it for me. But as for like my style and how I kind of wanted to approach music, it was Ludacris. Yeah. Listening to Ludacris's album, what was it, Release Therapy. I think that kind of like put a stamp on my whole life, my whole platform.
Wow, you gave some original answers. 'Cause, like, anytime I talk to people about rap, it's always, and of course, no disrespect to none of these people, but it's always Lil Wayne or like Biggie and Tupac. Like,
Oh,
it's
man.
it's always those names. But I ain't never heard somebody say Bow Wow and Ludacris.
Bow Wow.
But the thing is, like, everybody sees Bow Wow as a joke now. But like back in the day, like he was the guy.
Right.
He was that guy. So.
Right.
And he is influential, so.
And he touched on he was acting too. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah, true.
Just like you say, he was the guy. Like, even though he is considered a joke now because of that reason, I always got respect for Lil Bow Wow because of that very reason.
So now I want to know, what's your favorite movie from Bow Wow?
Well, my favorite movie from Bow Wow has to be Like Mike. It has to be Like Mike. I mean, you know, me being into sports and everything like that. And just the whole story of being, you know, like an orphan, and you know, everybody like that great ending in that fantasy type film. So, Like Mike was it for me. I think shortly after I seen that video, that's when Like Mike was came about.
Oh, what video? Was it basketball or? Wait, no, that came out with Like Mike, didn't it?
Yeah, that came out a little bit after, but it was something before that. Like I said, I can just envision big. I wish I should know the song. Big Blue Jersey. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like front and center. I should know the song, but yeah.
So, now, what's your biggest film inspirations? Like directors, maybe producers, films. Like, what inspires you in that lane?
All right, so that's a real good answer. I mean, real good question.
Mm-hmm.
What inspires me, honestly, you know, just like I said, that transition I made and wanting to become better with film. I've been dabbling with a lot of different directors, seeing their different styles. So it's not necessarily a specific director I like. It's just different styles I like. And, you know, we have our notorious, like, Quentin Tarantino's with his different shots. And he's into action. The type of films I usually, you know, create is like that drama type twist, witty type films. That's my niche. But I can't really say that I have a specific director. But I really like Peele's. I really liked his style.
Oh,
That
Jordan
sci-fi-
Peele?
Yeah, Jordan Peele. That sci-fi style.
Yeah, I tell people all the time, he is my favorite director. Just because, in a way, he's somewhat, and I guess this also has to do with his personality, he somewhat reminds me of me a little bit.
Okay.
Because, you know, growing up, a lot of people didn't expect me to, like, do certain things. And, like, some people would be like, oh, Tevin's doing that? Like, what? He ain't going to be good at it. Next thing you know, here I am. I'm outdoing people's expectations. Just like with Jordan Peele, like I've only known him for comedy up to that point. So when I heard that he was making a horror, I was actually more interested. Like, you know, other people was talking shit like, oh, it might not be good. He's a comedian. But when I saw Get Out, that instantly became like one of my favorite movies of all time. Like, I love Get Out. You know, people have problems with Us, but I still love that. And Nope. Even though it's not my favorite of the three, I can see as a director how much he's growing throughout all his films.
Right. See, and just like my niche, he has those twists, those witty twists in his films.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's sci-fi. That's something interesting. That's not easy to touch.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's what's up that you can compare to him.
Yeah. And like, what other directors are you feeling? Like, are there any new age directors besides Peele that you like a lot?
Any new age ones? All right, so this where that to answer your question, no. To answer your question, no. But I've been into like Netflix and watching different series and just studying. Like, I really studied the styles of everything. So, and I always critically pick apart certain films all the time, and it's always something I can pick apart that I can learn from. So I can't say it's a specific director that I'm feeling 100%, but I learn from everything I watch. You know what I'm saying?
I'm pretty sure every upcoming filmmaker just felt what you just said.
Yeah, I mean, it's like that's how we like if I create a film, right, and you check it out, I'm expecting something to be picked out in it. I'm expecting it for my own growth. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you didn't like the writing style. Maybe you didn't like the pacing, or maybe you didn't like the certain shots. And you know how like different shots have different meanings, and it's just that open conversation of just saying, yo, that was dope. I look forward to that. So I'm looking forward to being in a room with these big time directors, these big time creators, and just talking about the film, growing from it, learning from it. So, yeah, if they feel it, then I hope so. Hit me up. We can talk about it.
So speaking of, sitting with those big directors, who do you hope to work with in the future?
Oh, you talk about director-wise?
Just anybody in the film industry. It could be actors, anything.
All right. This honestly, this may be like a selfish crush of mine. You know what I'm saying? Chloe Bailey, man. I know she's a music artist, right? But I just plan to work with her on all different levels. I know she wants to act as well, so I plan to work with her. But anybody, I like to keep it tight. You know what I'm saying? What I invest my money into, especially lately, is like local film artists, local filmmakers. So I've been to a few film premieres this past year, just of people from Philly, people from Delaware, Baltimore. So anybody who's local, and of course we're keeping that tight network connection, that's who I plan on working with, building with. So anybody who's already established, I mean, if I get there, when I get there, let me speak that like that. When I get there, you know what I'm saying, I'm pretty sure the opportunity will present itself. But as for who I'm hoping to work with and got my eye on, I mean, I can give you a couple of names. I can give you a couple of shout outs. You know what I mean? I hope to work with my cousin, Tevin Howell. It's a few, we talked about that. We talked about it. But it's a Kelsey Delmar from Baltimore. I hope to work with. I'm already working with Blessing Ike. She's a great actress. I have a few people in Philly who I'm aspiring to work with. We got what's the name? It's a Josh Smith out in Jersey. He's a new actor. It's a director who I just checked him out. His name is Maurice Paramore. We have something coming out. We got something in the works. Just a bunch of local artists who will make it. That's what I plan to work with.
See, now I'm feeling that answer because, and I've talked about this with him before. One of the things that I definitely want to do, like, when I'm in the industry and whatever, I want to build up, like, people that's up and coming, and I want to level the playing field for like black actors and black creatives in the film industry. Because like, over the years we are getting a little bit better, but I feel like there's more that still could be done. Like, how do you feel about like, black people trying to get in the industry and like navigating through it?
Well, on that note, the tables is turning. You know what I'm saying? I'm feeling like black people are getting the respect due. They're getting that leverage that's so desperately not only needed but deserved. You know what I'm saying? And to go back on one of your questions before about directors, of course I gotta give my respects to Tyler Perry, because he's doing just that. He's somebody who does inspire me with his entire platform. Like, that's like end goal. Like, I expect to have my own studios and put our people on. But how I feel about that, I feel like it's necessary. You know what I'm saying? Because we're so underlooked in the industry right now. But like I said, the tables is turning and we're kicking our way through, and just continue to bully. And it's becoming the point where we're making our own industry. You feel what I'm saying? We just continue to create our own industry, and like I said, build each other up, and that's how it's going to work out. Like, stop asking for a handout to be in, let's just say, Hollywood. Let's create our own black Hollywood,
Exactly.
Black Hollywood.
And like, one of the things that I definitely hope to do is try to come up with like a bunch of different films that's not just about one type of black experience. Because at least when I go to the theater and like when I turn on TV, most of the stuff that I see, it's always like the gangster movies, the hood movies. Yeah. It's always like slavery movies or like, you know, just romantic dramas about a black couple. And it's like, yeah, those stories do need to be told because ultimately that is part of our experience. Mm-hmm. But I want to see more different experiences. Like, what about like that coming of age story for just a normal black kid and stuff like that? Maybe people consider him a nerd, but like he's trying to do something great someday. Or almost like even like Miles Morales, Miles Morales. Like I was talking to my aunt about this, and I was saying that I want more characters for like black children to look up to, because like, you know, me growing up around the 2000s, like when the original Spider-Man movies came out, it was cool to, you know, look at Peter Parker. Like, he is still a nice character.
Right.
But it is nice to have a nice character that also looks like me at the same time. Right. And he doesn't express those stereotypes that we always see.
Man, I feel that. I mean, on that note, what you think about how they're making the new Captain America black? Did you see or am I spoiling it for you?
Oh, no. I do, trust me, I keep up with the Marvel movies. But, I don't mind it. See, the thing is, and I guess we can talk about this a little bit because, you know, race swapping is like a big thing in Hollywood right now. My thing is, I'm fine with it as long as I don't feel like, you know, it's just done just to get black people in seats. But also, I feel like there has to be some type of purpose for it. Or either, kind of like what some people say, like, it's not even about the race of the character. It's just who was the best actor that came in at that moment. Okay. That's just how I feel about it. Because I remember when The Little Mermaid first came out, and it was Holly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, when she was announced. My thing is, and I kind of changed my opinion on it from the first time I talked about it. I forget exactly what I said the first time, but now I'm kind of just feeling like a very in between from how people feel about it. Because, like, on one hand, I do want to see more original black characters. Okay. But then on the other hand, I ain't going to be mad at Holly for getting the role because I don't feel like she just got it just because she's black. I feel like she's a good singer, which we all know, and she can genuinely act. So I see her skill set that, to me, makes her earn that role.
Okay.
But I feel like, you know, if you're just doing it just to get black people in seats, then that's an issue. But while I'd rather see original black characters and not just have them race swap, if the person genuinely earned that role, I ain't going to be mad at it. Right. And besides, we got to get black people in these big movies so that we can get more of those opportunities. Exactly. So
I agree with that 100%. I definitely feel that. It's like, on that note, it's like they did the same thing with the new superhero Black Adam. Mm-hmm. Did you hear about how The Rock is no longer going to be Black Adam?
Oh, I saw him address it, but I didn't know like he was gonna stop being Black Adam. I thought like how they were changing the direction of the DC universe. I thought he was gonna be in there later, but
right,
dang. Well, I'm not even a big DC fan, so you're gonna have to let me know a little bit more on that. But
no, I'm definitely Team Marvel. It's just I seen that come across, and it's like I said, I had the same reaction as you. Like, dang, you know what I'm saying? We had this one movie, and I guess they tried to build up this new superhero also to build up DC. Mm-hmm. You know, using The Rock as a platform. But like I said, I'm not too big on the media, but when I did see it and I did read the article and he wasn't with it anymore, I'm not sure if it was something about the storyline, you know, proceeding.
I think it has to do with Warner buying HBO, because they've been doing a lot of... Oh, wait, no, not Warner. Discovery. Okay. Discovery bought HBO and Warner like a while ago, and ever since they bought it, they've been like cutting a lot of shows and movies and stuff like that. Even that one Batgirl movie that was supposed to come out, and a lot of people were saying that it was actually a good film, but for some reason Discovery cut it, and now we might never get to see it.
Dang.
So I don't know what's going on over there at Discovery, but I do think it is kind of disappointing that like we only get one Black Adam movie, and that's just kind of it. Like, we don't even give The Rock a second chance.
Man, he would have killed it. So are you with black superheroes or the increase in black superheroes?
Like I said, I'm fine with it just as long as I don't feel like it's pandering or if the story actually needs it to be a black hero.
Okay.
So.
Call it that.
And now. Oh, dang. So, okay. We can address which one you want to talk about first because, you know, you're into music and film.
Yes.
So, do you want to say your favorite albums of all time first? Or your favorite films of all time?
Well, I did already sort of address. So you said albums plural.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Well, I did address the one. Like I said, Release Therapy by Ludacris. That has to be one of my favorites. Like I said, because that catapulted me to the type of artist I would consider myself to be. Like, I focus on the lyrics, kind of like pop, rock, hip hop. I know Luda not really that rock, but he gives me a little bit of pop, hip hop vibe. You know what I mean? But not that Release Therapy. And I gotta stick with other people. With Lil Wayne, it was a mixtape, but that Carter 3. And if I'm being recent, that off season is crazy. That off season is nuts. I'm you know how they got the comparison, Kendrick or J. Cole and everything like that.
How do you feel about that?
What J. Cole say? We act like it can't be two greats at once. First of all, I feel like they're both great. It's just who do you relate to more? You know what I'm saying? I think I relate to Cole more. You know what I'm saying? I'm a fan of Kendrick and his newest project as well. That was
Mr. Morale.
Yeah, but honestly, I never even finished it. I played a bunch of songs back to back to back. Then I mixed in a few podcasts and everything like that. So I never really finished it. But from what I heard, it was dope. But I've listened to J. Cole's like front to back a couple times, and it's just like it relates to me when I'm driving. It relates to me when I'm working out, everything like that. So how I feel about the two artists being compared.
Cause that's like a big debate with people, and once again, y'all know I'm the one with
so you got
different opinions.
You got some opinions, huh?
No, it's actually see, I debate with people in a different way about this because some people will pick J. Cole and people will pick J. Cole or Kendrick. I'd say they're both equal to me.
Okay.
Because there was actually one point where I was trying to figure out who is better. Like J. Cole dropped Forest Hills Drive. Then Kendrick dropped To Pimp a Butterfly. And I was like, all right, Kendrick's better. But then I heard J. Cole do a feature on this one song. And then Kendrick did a feature on another song. And they just kept going back and forth to me till it got to a point where I was like, all right, at this point, like, they're just equal to me. And re-listening to their music, one thing that I realized is I kind of see J. Cole and Kendrick like they're equal, but they almost feel like two different type of big brothers to me. J. Cole is the type of big brother where you tell him the situation and he's going to tell you exactly like up front like how it's about to go down if you do something stupid or not. Kendrick is more like that older brother where you tell him and he kind of hints at you like what's going to happen. Like you remember that one episode of the Boondocks where Riley was trying to sell chocolate bars and he was treating it like the drug game, and Huey was trying to tell him what was about to happen, and he's like, no, don't tell me what. He was like, don't tell me what's about to happen. So all he did was just hand him a bulletproof vest. I feel like that's Kendrick. Like he's gonna like give you the idea, but he lets the art speak for itself. So you have to come to that conclusion to yourself. Where J. Cole is gonna tell you that conclusion.
Yeah, that's a great analogy. So you're saying like Cole is the big brother that's gonna let you know how it is. Kendrick, the big brother, that's gonna make you think about it a little bit, make you go through the experience mentally.
Yeah, he's gonna guide you a little bit, but he's ultimately gonna let you play it out.
Long leash, short leash. I get that.
Yeah, so, and I get into hella debates with people about that, because like when I tell them that, they say it makes sense, but then they're still like, nah, I still rather get Kendrick. So
hey, that makes too much sense to me. Honestly, like I said, it's who you really relate to more. Some people don't have the capacity to understand Kendrick. He's that big poetry, big words. Like I play his things back to understand it, and I do find understanding. He's super creative, but I'm just saying Cole, just because I get it right there, and then I get the bar, I get the story mode. I like stories as well too. Of course, Kendrick give us that sometime too, but nah, team Cole, but respect to Kendrick.
See, I always put both of them on top, but the thing that I love about both of them, and I'm pretty sure you experienced this with a lot of like rap music, I love their type of music because not only do you get things from like the first time you listen to it and then on re-listens, but I love the experience of I could listen to a song years later and I could finally listen to it again and I'll notice like some special detail in like the background of the song or like a bar that I never thought about before, like and okay, I'll admit this is something stupid that happened to me, but like I feel embarrassed about to say this because it sounds stupid when I think about it, but when J. Cole first dropped Forest Hills Drive, I'm listening to January 28th. Years later, I'm listening to that song again. And this is the most simplest bar that I finally picked up. But I was like, hey, that's a bar. When he was like, flow bananas here, peel this back.
Oh, man.
I was like, in my head, I was like, why the fuck didn't I pick that up sooner? Like, that's a bar.
First time go. Cole don't make it too hard for you. He don't make it too hard
Hey, I guess I just had to grow up a little bit, but yeah. Well, then again, I was starting to get into rap a little bit around that time when he first dropped that. So,
hey, man, and you I take it.
Now, since we are talking about a lot, like newer age rappers like Kendrick and Cole, while we on this, I want to ask you like, how do you feel about newer generation of rap compared to like older generation?
Now, I'm gonna be honest. I feel like we're here to evolve. The older generation, they mostly focused on the lyrics and the storytelling and the dream to sell. You know what I'm saying? They sold us a dream. This new generation, I feel like they're such an influence in. You want to get big into the whole.
Hey, let's get into it.
I like certain new age artists for certain reasons. I don't like them all, and I don't listen to them all. But when it comes to, like I said, the evolution of it with the flow, and like you mentioned before, just listening to things in the background, I listen deeper into like the obviously you can't avoid the beat.
Yeah,
the beats is definitely hitting harder than the ones in the past, but I listen a lot to the ad-libs. And that's one of my favorite parts about music, like even with my own music. I'm big into, the voice is an instrument as well. Yeah. So if you add in that certain ad-lib that adds that flavor to the song, I feel like that's tough. And that's what they didn't really do much of in the past. So I'm just seeing the evolution. I feel like it's growth, but now I'm getting deep into it. But what we're promoting and what's accepted and things that will have a higher chance of making it, you know what I'm saying? I'm not for it.
You mean like gangster rap and like how they're taking it like a little bit too far nowadays?
Man, listen, it's good. Every day is getting further and further. Yes, that's like what we promote. We promoting the negativity. We promoting the things that keep our frequencies low. And my awareness in that is just. I'm not with it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not with it. I mean, that's honestly, let's say that's about like 2-3 years ago. But now it's more of a whatever's catchy because now TikTok is the new music platform. You know what I mean? So whatever's catchy. So I feel like it evolved, and I feel like it's going to continue to evolve. And I don't want to be that old person angry at it. You know what I'm saying? Because you know how our parents think the music we listen to. It's trash, garbage, and everything, and but I don't want to be thinking the music my daughter listens to is wild, crazy. I just learned to accept it and pick apart the good and the bad and keep it pushing.
See, I try to look at older music and newer music kind of equal, but then, because me and my friend, we talk about this a lot. My friend's really into like basketball, and he's not really that much into rap, so I try to connect basketball as close as I can to rap. And when we were talking about like the generations of rappers, we were kind of like comparing it to like the old NBA to the new NBA, and he was talking about how the rules has changed so much from back then to now that in a way it's kind of hard to determine like would LeBron James or Michael Jordan win in a basketball game. Like if we were to send LeBron back into a time machine, like who would really win, because basketball and the NBA was like so different. So I was thinking, shoot, you know, when it comes to these rappers, like if we had a time machine, would Kendrick, would Cole, would they survive in the older generation? Would Biggie and Tupac survive in like well, okay, I'm not gonna use them because I was about to say you got yeah, but I was just saying as an example. But like, you know, would older rappers come in here and like would they survive in the newer generation? So it's like we like to talk about stuff like that, and I even had to tell him like, you know, I ain't gonna be biased now. I feel like some of my newer favorite rappers would not survive back then, but not because I don't think they're good enough, but just because music was so different back then. Like one of my examples, and trust me, guys, I love this artist, XXX Tentacion.
Okay,
I do not think he would survive like back in the day, cause think about it, X made so many different types of music. But I don't think, like, if he had a time machine and he went back, I don't think a lot of people would accept more of his emo rock type style.
Right.
Maybe they'll accept the rapidy rap style because he could rap if he wanted to. But the other type of styles, and we know he liked being versatile, I don't think people would appreciate it as we do today.
It breaks my heart, but I gotta disagree. Like I said, because it's about evolution. That way, are you saying if he goes in the past, right, with his updated, let me use the basketball analogy you just used, right? You got Jordan, LeBron. Nowadays, LeBron, he's working out with different type of technologies and equipment to get him stronger, to get him faster, to get him better at basketball. Versus Jordan, he had the equipment he had to be the best player he could be. Now, are you saying LeBron going back playing Jordan with the same equipment he has from the future?
Yeah.
So you saying X going back in the past?
Like, nothing about him changes. Like, he just goes right back into the past.
So what I believe about music, right, what's always going to be next is that difference maker. Is what's different, what sounds the most different. You know what I'm saying? So if you put X and put him in the past, and he's the only person sounding how he sounds, he probably would have best. He would have been the best thing out.
I mean, I can see where you're coming from, but you know, some people would probably be caught like off guard. Like, you know, like I said, or like you said, it is gonna evolve eventually. But if you just come out the gate where everybody sounds like one thing, and then you come out the gate, you're gonna be caught off guard. But I can see what you mean, though.
I can see what you mean, guys. But it's like, just with the psychology of people knowing, I think it would have grew on them.
Yeah.
It would have definitely shocked them. But I feel like it would have grew on like...
Because it's almost like, quote-unquote, mumble rap. I don't think all of it was really mumble rap. But like when that became more of a bigger style and everybody was hating it and stuff like that. But then eventually, we all kind of learned like, okay, so... It's almost like we kind of seen people be mad about it, but then they came to accept it and try to understand it. Kind of like what J. Cole went through.
Yeah.
And, okay, I could see that happening with X if he was to go back then. I feel like there was a lot of building blocks to get us to that point. Yeah. But it's almost something like that, I guess. Yeah.
I feel you. I guess, with correct me if I'm wrong, you think it's just too much of a drastic change.
Yeah, I feel like there would have to be like growth. Yeah. So I feel like if you just threw him, that might be a drastic change. But then again, that could be the thing that inspires that growth to where we are now. Because even like the mumble or melodic music that we got today, you can see early influences from back then. So I can get it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But speaking, because when you touched on TikTok, that somewhat touched on a question I was going to ask you later.
Okay.
And this can apply both to music and film. How do you feel about like social media and TikTok? How they affect the entertainment industry? Because nowadays people rely a lot on social media to get films out there, especially music artists. Like, you're not a big artist if you're not viral. So
that's a fact. I feel like it is the new society. You know what I'm saying? I feel like we make a TikTok, it go viral, right? And I'm just a regular person. I make a new dance. What's that new dance? Like, I'm just make a new dance, right? Now that regular person went viral on TikTok, on a social media platform, and now society sees it, the industry sees it, like music artists. They're implementing it in their music videos. They're doing it. You know what I'm saying? It's shaping the industry. And we are, or regular consumers, we watch the industry as our guide. So then it's shaping us. So that simple video that went viral, we probably seen it first anyway, but it went viral, and now they're doing it on these mainstream platforms, such as in the industry. It shapes society. I feel like social media, shapes society.
Now, do you think that social media can make it a little bit harder on creatives? Because, there's some people that only want to focus on the art, and maybe like a studio or a record label might tell them like, maybe you need to get this certain amount of plays, certain amount of traction on the internet before we can move forward with your project.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you feel, but personally, me, I say all the time, like, to be honest, like, I've been trying to get with social media a little bit more, but I'm not really much of a social media person. Like, with the things that I want to do, if I could do it without promoting on social media, I very much would.
Right.
But, nowadays, being a creative, you have to like focus on social media. So do you feel like social media makes it a little bit harder for people that just want to focus on the art?
It definitely does. It definitely does. Cause I'm on it now on the same wave as you. It's social media is a job. You know what I'm saying? It's a job. You gotta now learn the algorithms and everything. You gotta invest into the marketing on social media instead of the regular marketing that we used to. And that can take away from the creative process. You know what I'm saying? You may want to write a project, but your mind is still elsewhere on how this is going to, push on social media and the distribution on that. So it's like, I do feel like social media, it takes away from the creative process. That's why most people hire, you know what I'm saying? They hire people. So it takes the enjoyment out of it, to be honest with you. But I'm not allowed to say that. I'm not allowed to say that.
Yeah, I don't know. Someday, I hope I get, well, I'm not going to say I hope. I am going to get as big as Kendrick, Cole, or even in the film space like a Jordan Peele, where I can just stay quiet on social media, and then when I'm ready to drop a project, I want to get to that level. Like, I can stay quiet. Everybody will be like, where did Tevin go? Then when I'm ready to drop a film poster, people making like 30 analysis videos on just my poster alone. That's the type of lifestyle I want. But, okay, so back to the favorites. What's your favorite films of all time?
All right. So film, because I watch. So here's let's say a fun fact about me. I don't watch films more than once. It's only a certain amount of films I watch more than once, but I don't really watch films more than once. So I watch a film and I can't watch it again. But certain films that I have watched more than once that I like for a certain reason, this may be childish, but one of them, I'll give you a more serious one first, is Crooklyn. Okay. Crooklyn, it just brings me back to home. You know what I'm saying? having in Crooklyn, you got the different dimensions of how it is at the bodega, how it is at the corner stores. You know, with me being from Camden, it's like the corner stores, that's the vibes. Usually all Spanish music and, you know, people dancing. And we walk by, we see, you know, people getting high. In Crooklyn, they had the people sitting there with the glue in the bag. It's just giving you that high. It just brings me back. And then going inside of the household, it's like a black household. You got the big family, everybody, you know, got their own personalities. And Crooklyn brings me back. So I watched Crooklyn more than once for sure. So the more childish film is High School Musical.
I mean, a lot of people in my generation ain't gonna be mad at you.
I'll take that.
They ain't gonna be. I ain't even gonna be mad at you. No, because High School Musical really was an influential film. Like, I don't care what nobody got to say. Man. And my generation look back on it fondly. Like, you know, back in the day, me and my boys, you know how we were when we were younger. Like, oh, I don't like that shit. Get that out of here. But now, like, even just like last year, me and my boy, we were like, "Hey, yo, you wanna come over and watch High School Musical?" He said, "Sure."
I'm with it. Like, I'm with it.
No, I don't blame you, cuz that movie really is influential. Whether people want to talk shit or not.
It's as simple as that. Like, and I'm talking about like the first one. That I liked all of them, but the very first one I watched, I can't even tell you how many times I watched.
Would you say the first one's your favorite?
I think I have to.
Controversial opinion. The third one's my favorite.
So you talk about when he was in the summer?
Senior year,
they came back senior year. Oh,
no, that was my favorite. Hey, look, I'm used to the disappointment. If I like everybody I talk to either says one or two, I'm always the person.
I'll see if you say two, but no, you said the third.
I always say, okay, what's the disrespect with the third one?
Then at that point, it's like, I don't know. It's like it wasn't much more to see. It wasn't much more of a surprise, I guess. I was just not that all right. It was a great film. Let me acknowledge that it was a great film. But to compare it to the first two, I don't feel like it was anything new. What was different? I kind of expected?
What I like about it?
Yeah. What did you like about it?
I mean, all three are kind of simple movies to me, but like I guess I kind of liked. Okay, this might sound like some mushy gushy shit, but like I kind of like seeing the story of like Troy and Gabriella trying to stay together after high school. Troy's not knowing what he wants to do, like music or sports. And personally, one of the big advantages, I love the theatrical film. The theatrical feel of the movie, like
right.
And then also, I think it has my favorite songs out of the whole trilogy on there.
Wow.
I would say the songs is probably the number one reason why I have it up there.
Dang, I'll take that. I'll take it. I mean, I guess we can agree to disagree.
But don't get me wrong, the first two has bangers too.
So about my favorite one is the first one, and the reason being is because it let me know. It didn't let me know, but it's like you said, that inspiration that it's cool to just be yourself. Mm-hmm. You know, being in the time I was in. I went to a school. Well, first and foremost, the school I went to. Shout out to Charter. The school I went to, everybody was a clique. Everybody was a family. But I was, a sportsy guy, just like Troy Bolton. You know what I'm saying? But it let me know, and I was always into, like I said, music and everything. It lets me know I can push with that as well. I don't gotta be this jock. So it's really that specific reason. And that one song, what was it? The Status Quo.
Yeah.
It's like you ain't gotta stick to the status quo. You can be who you want, and that hit different. Even to this day, I'm big on just being who you truly are, being who you truly want to be. And if you let anyone else change their direction, then you're not walking a solid path. You're gonna be lost a long time. So just be who you truly want to be. So that's really what I got from that first film, High School Musical.
Okay, so now that we're talking about High School Musical, have you ever seen that Disney Plus show?
It's a Disney Plus show?
Yeah. It's a High School Musical, the series.
Oh, with the whole new cast and everything?
Yeah.
Nope, I have not. I refuse to look at it.
Oh my god, yeah.
Tell me about it.
I like the show, but Here's the thing. I think I have like a love-hate relationship with the show.
Okay.
Because season 1, now, I don't know if you know the plot of the show, but it's not like them continuing the events of the movies. It's kind of like it takes place in our universe where they go to East High, and the High School musical movies are movies to them.
Oh, wow.
So, and in the first season, they're doing a play of the first movie.
Okay.
And in a way, I guess you could say that like the kids start to mirror somewhat some of the stuff in the movie, because like it's about this boy and this girl that broke up, and he's trying to get her back through the play, and she has a new boyfriend, and like they start to mirror it a little bit, and you kind of see them get back together. But that's why I have a love and hate relationship. Because overall, I do like the show.
Right.
But at the end, I don't think they should have got back together. Spoiler alert for anybody that's watching. But like, they got back together at the end of season 1.
Hey.
Just to break up at the end. Just to break up in season 2, because you know Olivia Rodrigo, she's doing her own thing now.
She's in that.
Yeah, and so they break up in season 2, and then they caught a lot of people off guard that instead of doing High School Musical, now they're doing Sleeping Beauty as a play for season 2. Then for season 3, it's summer camp, and they do a play of Frozen.
So they really sticking with the times, is what you're saying.
Yeah. And the thing is, throughout the whole show, they covered like a lot of High School Musical songs. They covered Camp Rock songs. Like they just cover anything Disney. Okay. I feel like this is just Disney just bragging about how many properties they own at this point. But yeah, it's very love and hate, because I like season 1. I hated season 2. Love season 3. So if you're a High School Musical fan, I would say it's just something you do have to check out for yourself. Okay. And a lot of the older cast members do come back. Like Corbin Bleu was a big character in season 3.
Okay.
So it's just something you got to watch for yourself to formulate like your own opinion.
Nah, I think I need to... Like you said, I need to put my pride aside. Like, I was just upset. Like, no, it's something you just shouldn't remake.
Yeah.
I didn't even give it a chance.
Yo, me and my friend shout out Al. We were just talking about this. How do you feel about remakes and sequels and stuff like that?
I mean, I guess on the note of High School Musical, I felt some type of way, but it's like I feel like remakes are for the newest generations to come, just to let them know how it was before. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got this Little Mermaid. You tell them we got High School Musical. How do I feel about it? I feel like it's necessary. I feel like it's I feel like it's necessary to reach that new generation. Now, like I said, the youngsters, I'm saying the youngsters, goddamn. The younger people, they know what High School Musical is. And they see it from their lens. And we know what High School Musical is from our lens. But it just brings that connection. You know what I'm saying?
See, that on the thing of High School Musical, that's kind of like a weird... I feel like I'm in the weird middle ground with that. Because, like, it was somewhat y'all generation, but I was also, like... I was young, but I was still old enough to be into High School Musical. Right. But I'm still at the age where I could be watching the newer show. So like, I feel like I'm a very in between type of generation with
middle
that.
child.
But as far as like sequels and remakes, I somewhat agree with you, but I somewhat don't. See, I don't. Now the only way I can justify a remake is the original film outdated? Because with films, to me, it don't matter what time the film comes out, because if the story is timeless and like maybe there's newer technology and stuff like that, but if the story is timeless to where a newer generation can still pull something out of like that old film, I don't think there's anything we need to remake about it. So I feel like with remakes, it has to be like something that needs to be updated, kind of like what you said, so that like maybe newer people can get it and whatever. And then sequels, this is another controversial opinion that I have, but like a lot of the film ideas that I have, like I tell some of my friends my film ideas, and one thing I always say is I'm never making a sequel to anything that I made. Now, if a studio wants a sequel, then I guess you're just about to hire somebody else to make it, because I'm not doing it. See, my thing is sequels. There needs to be a necessary story to be told.
Okay.
Like maybe okay. I'll use Back to the Future for an example. Like the original Back to the Future, I don't really like the sequels that much, but I love the original. But I still feel like a sequel was necessary because of that ending scene where they said Marty's kids were in trouble. Okay. So now, okay, we got to see what's going on with Marty's kids. Because if you just left it at that and there was no sequel, it'd be like, so what the hell? We don't know we don't know what happened. But then with other movies like The Hangover, and I love the Hangover trilogy. Don't get me wrong, I really love the Hangover trilogy. But what the fuck was the point of 2 and 3? Okay. There was no point to it. Yeah. So it's like certain movies, I don't see no reason to have sequels or not. And I mean, hey, look, there's a lot of sequels that I do like. Like, they're unnecessary, but I still like them. Mm-hmm. But my thing is, and even with me, I'm never going to make a sequel if there's no point to it.
So you're not a sequel guy? Not
at all. Not even TV show revivals. Like, I would never revive a TV show if there's nothing to tell. Like, okay, I'm not going to tell my idea on the show, but me and my friend Al, we have a TV show idea, and it's kind of like a period piece, and it's kind of like about these kids during a certain time, and where we leave it off at, he said that he may want to do like a spinoff where we follow the kids to college, or like we see them later in the future. And me, I was just like, nah, because I mean, I get it. We get to explore a different time period if we were to do that. But like, I don't feel like doing that because I just feel like it would pretty much be the same thing. We're just watching people grow up in a certain time period. Right. So start something new at that. I told him like, and then also the other problem with it is the way that we ended the show, the kids would all be going in their own separate ways. So I'm like, if you were to continue it, you would have to find some plausible reason after we literally gave them reasons to separate. Right. You have to find some plausible reasons to get them back together. Or either you would have to make a completely different group, which would still somewhat feel like rehashing. Mm-hmm. So I'm just like, you can do that if you want to. And hey, maybe in the future fans will be pissed off that both showrunners ain't coming back, but I don't want to do that because I don't want to beat a dead horse, or to me, beat a dead horse.
Dang, yeah. I mean, I can see why you would say that.
Like, would you ever make a sequel to like any of your films?
Like an ending. That's what you're asking. An ending.
Yeah. Would you make like a definitive ending, like? To all your films?
I feel like I would. Mm-hmm. I feel like I would because I will make a sequel because closure. You need closure. It's one film. You ever seen? It's a TV series, Person of Interest. Nah. Okay. Well, that had I watched that. It was like 8 seasons, and it finally had an ending. And it's like it's just closure instead of expecting something. Like sometimes things get draining. Like, all right, I'm tired of watching this. Mm-hmm. I mean, honestly, that's as plain as I can get it. I feel like a good closure, and it has to be a good sequel too. Like, okay, all the questions are answered. We see where all the characters ended up. We see what the end resolution is. I like closure.
So basically, no loose ends.
No loose ends.
And see, that's what I'm saying with the film ideas I have. See, now that I'm really thinking about it, I think the reason that I say that about the film ideas I have is a lot of the films that I think about making, they're either like stuff that challenges people's thoughts, or either they're lessons that I want the audience to get. Okay. And at the end of each film that I thought of, I feel like I already gave that lesson or message or that question that I want to leave the audience with. I feel like I already gave it to them by that point. So I don't know how much more I can add on to that stuff. So maybe that's why I won't, but...
All right, so let me get this right, because you can edit this thing, right? Huh? You can edit this thing too, right? Yeah. No, because my understanding of a sequel is the ending. You have a end cap. Mm-hmm. Ain't that what that is? Like, they all have, you gave them the answer.
Yeah.
And that's it, right?
Yeah.
So that's the sequel?
Nah. I feel like if I reach that conclusion in the first film, then I don't need to make a sequel.
Okay.
So that's what I mean. Like, I feel like I reached that closure in the first film. And just like with the TV show idea, like, the show idea was about these kids in this time period. We watched them grow up. We watched them do their thing. Okay. Now, if he wants to continue that, if he finds some type of reason to keep it going, hey, go ahead and do that. But me, I don't see the reason. I personally got my conclusion with these characters and story.
Closure is important to me.
Even
instead of dragging it out.
Even just like what you said with how you brought up Marvel earlier. Like, personally, me, I keep telling people, once Kang Dynasty comes out, or whatever's the last one that comes out, Secret Wars or Kang Dynasty, I'm done with Marvel.
Wow.
Because I feel like I personally reached that conclusion. Like, I know a lot of other people felt like that with the first saga when Captain America went to be with Peggy and Iron Man died. Like, everybody felt that closure.
Yeah. Like,
so
what else can you tell?
Would you stick with Marvel afterwards, or like?
I mean, honestly, to that point you just made, I told you I was under a rock. You know what I'm saying? So I'm getting to that point now where I'm getting tired of certain things. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, with that point made, I got the vibe of closure right there. Like, you know, he's Captain America, Iron Man's dead. You know, everything like that. It's kind of like, what else can you tell me? I do like the branch offs though. Like, everybody, I do like the branch offs. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody has their own storyline, and that can keep me interested in Marvel. But as for any more of these, you know, gatherings and there's everybody, it's like, all right, I feel like y'all did a great job. But what else we fighting for?
And you know, that's the thing I told my friends at the end of Endgame, and I told them, yo, I feel bad for Marvel at this point. And they were like, why? Because you would think Endgame is kind of like a big bow out, like everybody is thinking about it in a happy way. I'm sitting here thinking, oh, they're screwed. And the reason I say that, now, when I said that, I was like, first off, you got to put into perspective. I think I was in like 3rd or 4th grade when the first Iron Man came out. I'm in my sophomore year of college when Endgame came out. There was such a long, gradual story. We grew with these characters. Like, these characters were basically our lives.
Right.
Now, you took these characters away, and it all built, or actually first, you grew up all these characters, and then they put them all in team-up movies.
Right.
And that's all I've heard people talk about around that time. Like, yo, what's going to happen when they bring the other people back? Or, I loved Infinity War because we finally got to see all these characters together. Now, the reason I said they're screwed is, you know, once Endgame is over, everybody's going to have to go back to their separate ways.
Right.
And that's all you guys are fixed on now. So now everybody only wants team-ups and meet-ups and stuff like that. Like, everybody only wants people to show up in this other property. And that's something that I saw especially a lot with Phase 4. Like, Multiverse of Madness, people was like, oh, we're going to get this actor as Reed Richards. We're going to see different Iron Man. We're going to see different Captain America. Yeah. And it's like, see, that's the effect that Infinity War and Endgame left, because now all y'all are expecting are team-ups. You guys aren't worried about the build-ups and working towards those special moments anymore.
Right.
So that's why I was saying they're screwed, but, I mean, it seems like they know what they're doing. Well, a lot of people have different opinions on Phase 4, but, like, it seems like they know what they're doing, so I trust them, but it's just like, I know how these Marvel fans feel, and to be honest, you guys can complain all you want, but it's clear to see that you guys really just want team-ups, and that's all you really are missing.
Dang. And you think they're going to continue with it? Because I'm getting tired of it, personally.
What, all the team-ups and stuff?
Yeah,
of course. Like, this year alone, we got Ant-Man, Quantumania, and I'm hearing a lot of rumors about all the different heroes that are supposed to show up in that one. You got the Marvels, where you already have Captain Marvel, Monica Rambeau, and Miss Marvel coming together. So that's already a team up in itself. I think it's undeniable at this point.
I think it's becoming overwhelming for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot to stick with. Like I follow it, but having these new characters come about is like, and once I see them in one of these team ups, it's like, damn, I gotta check out their individual story now. You know what I'm saying?
And that's what a lot of people have been saying recently, that Marvel is starting to feel like work.
I guess so. It's like, and nobody, let's say we got a lot of other work going on. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But I'm a fan of the action. I'm a fan of the Marvel. But I guess whoever said that was hammer on the nail.
I ain't gonna lie though, like every studio, everybody's trying to make their own cinematic universe nowadays. Everybody's always trying to come up with their own universe. I love Power. I'm a big Power fan.
Okay.
But I didn't realize till recently how much, and as much as I love Power, it's work watching it, because I feel like a series is harder to do a universe than a film, because like films, you just watch that one movie and then that's it. TV shows can go for seasons, so that means hours on top of hours. That means you need to watch hours of content to get to this other show. And I'm trying to get one of my friends into watching Power. Now, they watched the original Power.
Right.
And I told them, all right, so either you can watch Raising Kanan, you can watch Book 2, but you have to wait till after Book 2 to watch Book 4. And then I was like, now with Raising Kanan, you could watch it, but I feel like you have to watch this because there's context.
Oh, man, you're throwing them off.
Like, that's what I mean. Like, this whole universe stuff, like, while it is a cool thing to think of, it does kind of make work for, like, viewers of stuff.
I feel like it's easier to follow, things such as Power. You know what I'm saying? I follow. Maybe I'm just being biased.
No, it is easy to follow because, I mean, ultimately it is all just drug dealing. But it's like, you know what I mean? Like, you have to wait till after you watch season 1 of Book 2 to watch Book 4. Then you have to go back to season 2 of Book 2 before you watch season 2 of Book 4.
So I understand. And you've been seeing Force?
Huh?
Force?
Yeah.
With Tommy? It's like, it's also work. It's also work.
Oh yeah, that Power is my favorite series on television right now. Wait, how do you feel about Patina Miller and like everybody else on Power not getting like nominations for award shows?
Wow.
Because the crazy thing is, I remember me and my boy, we were looking at when they were like announcing, nominations for like, I forget which award show it was, but like a lot of people from Euphoria was getting nominated, and Patina Miller. You've seen Raising Kanan, right?
Yeah.
So Patina Miller. Like it's crazy to me that she has not gotten any nominations. I think she has now, but at that point, it was crazy to me that she didn't get any nominations. But almost half the cast of Euphoria is getting it. And not to say that they're not great actors themselves, but if you've seen Raising Kanan, Patina Miller is like amazing.
Killing it.
So how do you feel about that?
I mean, I don't want to bring the whole, like we talk about, the Euphoria, that's all drug related and everything like that. It's like, honestly, I couldn't even watch too much of that. That made me nauseous.
Really?
Really. I probably watched 2 episodes. But with Power, Raising Kanan, it's in that realm of gangster. You know what I'm saying? So I'm feeling like maybe that's why the decisions was made. Not that it's a good decision or not. Both films have this I don't want to say raunchy, but that's the only thing that's coming to my mind right now. Just like a raunchy feel, a gritty feel. But for them not to get nominated, that's dang. I didn't know that. Like I tell you, I'm under a rock. I didn't know that.
Well, the last topic that I do have for us to talk about. So, you've been saying under a rock. How do you feel like your life has changed since, you started living that type of life?
Dang. So that kind of everything, it's like I'm out of the loop sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And that can seem like a bad thing, but most times I take it as a good thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not so hip. But being in the industry and, having aspirations of being in an industry, sort of kind of aspirations, it's kind of like I have to know these type of things. I have to know these certain people. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like a bittersweet. It's bitter because I can't engage in all these, let's just say, important conversations. But it's sweet because I'm here with it. Like, I've been under a rock here. And what this is just me going through life myself. You know what I'm saying? I'm still a young man with aspirations of being big. You know what I mean? And creating. I feel like it's important to give yourself that time. Give yourself that time away from society and away from all the obligations that's needed. You know, the social media, everything. I feel like that's important. But like with that being the case, you're going to miss out on some things. And then when you try to pop back out from under that rock, you know, on some Patrick Star, it's like you got to catch up. You got to do this quick research. And to be transparent with you, it gives anxiety. It gets re-draining. And I would rather be under a rock because it's more peaceful. You know what I'm saying? It's more peaceful. I'm not consumed with the newest drama or everything. I guess I'm selective of what drama I want to consume with, but trust me, I'm not consumed with too much. So, yeah, when I say I'm under a rock, cause it's like we can't have every kind of, like I don't watch football. So we can't talk about the Eagles. When, you know, this is compared to when I used to be out there. Like I said, even though I don't watch as much movies as I would like. I don't have the time to watch basketball. I watch the highlights. So I can't tell you. I know the Lakers ain't doing too great, but I can't tell you how the Lakers and the Sixers. Sometimes I'm just out of the loop. You know what I'm saying? So what I can talk about is what's up here. Maybe that's called self-centered, but it brings me way more peace than trying to figure out what's new, what's popping. So that under a rock, it's bittersweet.
See, I can feel that because, like I said earlier, like I really don't want to use social media. I'd be like, and you follow me, so I don't know if you be noticing. Like sometimes my page is gone, sometimes I'm back. Like I'd be like deactivating my account sometimes because it's like I want to live out of that social media loop. Like I want to just focus on myself. And I remember there was one time where Instagram kind of glitched, and when I deactivated my account, and just like everybody else, because we temporarily do it, we all noticed that like when we tried to sign back in, it wouldn't let us back in. Yeah. And at first, this is how you know the younger generation part of my mind was working. I was like, oh no, I'm about to lose my account.
Stressing.
But then after a while, I just came to accept it, and it was the most peaceful like 2 or 3 days I've ever had once I was like, I can't get my account back. All right, it is what it is. And like social media, it's tough because kind of like what you said, like, you know, you want that time to yourself, but I feel like it's also stressful when you come back because it's like, okay, now I got to adjust again to what's popular now. I got to get with the times, and it's tough. And I guess this is somewhat like an amalgamation of everything we talked about thus far because it's like, as creatives, you want to put your work out there, but if you're someone that also just wants to focus on your art and just focus on yourself, it just makes it harder because like you got to work with these algorithms, which seems to change every day. You got to work with your followers. What do they like? What do they not like? Was there like this one part of my picture that you didn't like, so now I got to make sure I don't do that again? Like when I preview my episodes, do I have to pick what clips are going to make people like, because even with this podcast, like when I used to do the little previews of each episode, I'm sitting there, and you see we've been recording for like an hour. I'm sitting through hour-long episodes like, I think this clip will be fine. This clip will be viral. Okay, like it's like you really got to sit there and think. You basically also got to think like an intern. You got to think like the creator and the intern, and that's what kills me. Definitely. But it's like that's kind of like what you said. That's what the industry is. That's what life is now. And honestly, we just got to adjust. Because the crazy thing is, just like how I said, I want to be like Kendrick, Jordan Peele, hell, even Andre 3000. Like, as much as I want to be like them, to where they stay quiet until they're ready to talk, they all had to work to get to that point where they were allowed to stay quiet. So
exactly, I was about to just say that, like, it's really just this starting off point. That's the stress. You know what I'm saying? But I guess you got to work for it. It's really like starting it off. It ain't easy. So give respect to these creatives and these filmmakers and these, you know, artists, because it ain't easy. You got to wear a lot of hats, and if you ain't wearing a lot of hats, you got to have a lot of money. You know.
Yeah.
So,
And especially like being black, trying to come up in the industry, you know, code switching. You got to make sure you know how to act in front of different crowds and stuff like that. And that's something that I see with a lot of like black directors and black creators and stuff like that. So it's like, you know, working your way up, not even just social media, but like even in the day to day, like pitching ideas, networking, like you just got to know how to move. So
yeah, it's a system, it's a job, like you said.
Yeah. But that's about all the topics that I had. Now, do you have any upcoming projects, anything you want to promote to the people?
Absolutely. This Friday, January 20th, I have my film premiere. I'm actually acting in a TV series. It's called Independent We Stand. It's about a group of friends trying to start a music record label and the struggles of doing that. You know, the struggles and the aspirations and the accomplishments of doing that, and what we have to go through to have a successful music production company. Yeah, that's coming out Friday. You can get tickets, link in my bio. Last year, I've recently released my EP, No Therapy. Musically, that's what I created, but trust me, so much more is coming out now. And I might drop a little teaser of a new music video by the end of this month. For me, coming from under that rock. I'm about to push back with, you know, my content and everything, and I'll be more out there. So yeah, again, check my link in the bio for this film premiere. I would love to see you on the red carpet. And yeah, check out No Therapy. That's also the link in the bio.
Now, also, guys, if you're watching on YouTube, you guys can check the description. I'll have all of Tony's links down there. Yes, and you know. Well, this is just me talking to the fans right now, but, you know I've been very inconsistent the last few weeks with the episodes and whatever, but like I said, 2023, I'm grinding this podcast. I'm grinding, like, all the ideas that I have in my head, so, you know, sorry for not being consistent, but, hey, we back on now. And thank you to Tony for being on the podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode, and I will see you next time on the Hate It or Love It podcast. And with all that being said, Tevin Jameer signing out.